Hi, I'm Javier Reynaldos. We've spent the last 12 or so summers living and working from our Airstream travel trailer. When it gets too hot and too humid in South Florida, we chase 70 degrees by touring North America. So far, we've covered the 48 lower states and all 10 Canadian provinces. Much of that time boondocking. I'm a gearhead geek who is always looking for optimal living setup for our annual adventures. Whether it's internet access, clean potable water, or electricity, I'm always searching out the stuff that will help us go further, stay in the wild longer, and experience more. This video is the first in a series that shares our experiences living and working successfully on the road, reveals the challenges we face in our real-world situations, and how we expect Victron Energy products might help us live better and lower our state of charge anxiety as we prepare for our biggest tour yet, to travel from our home in South Florida all the way to Alaska. Aside from its iconic looks, I found inspiration in Wally Byam's creed, to place the great wide world at your doorstep for you who yearn to travel with all the comforts of home. I'm too old to be a ground dweller, but I still want to live in nature. And for us, the most beautiful places are further away from crowds, nestled in lots of trees, and with an abundance of terrain to explore. In today's world, the comforts of home include the internet and a much heavier reliance on electricity than in Wally Byam's day. That reliance can limit our campgrounds and site selection to places with shore power. And there's one hard and fast rule to campgrounds. The more services a site has, the more a campground resembles a parking lot. And since we prefer parks over parking lots, we need to bring power with us as well. Our first rule of traveling is carry what you need and need what you carry. Living well on the road, especially in an Airstream, is about balancing weight and the available storage space. These are meticulously designed, hand-built coaches without the garage-type spaces you find in a fifth wheel or a Class A. Space is the most precious commodity, and to outfit the trailer appropriately, I'll show you how I work with the small and sometimes hidden spaces to avoid disfiguring our beautiful trailer. Likewise, I'll work with the systems that Airstream already built into our coach to make our improvements without making radical changes. Let's go over our current setup. When we acquired our new to us 2018 International 30-foot rear bedroom, we added 4 ZAMP 90-watt solar panels using the supplied 12-gauge solar pre-wire connected to a Renogy 40-amp charger. That supplied 2 Renogy 100-amp-hour batteries. We also changed out the onboard 120-volt charger to one that can fully charge the lithiums. This setup works as long as we got at least 4 hours of sunlight on the panels daily, and we plan carefully to have regular shore power. And while there's nothing wrong with how we do now, we want to go further, we want to see more, and we want to live better for longer periods of time off-grid. Here's our reality check from our last 2 4-month tours. Living and working from remote locations means operating within your ability to generate and store shore power. Many times, more often than I would have liked, we had to rely on our Honda generators when things didn't go according to plan. And I genuinely feel like a failure and a nuisance to my neighbors should we need to run a generator in such beautiful wilderness. So to address all of this, we started by converting most of our devices to 12-volt power to avoid the overhead from the inverter. We still found ourselves running short of shore power. After a week under a canopy of dense trees, we realized that we needed more charging sources because rooftop solar panels became useless. Hoping to juice up in between campgrounds, we found that a typical tow vehicle without lithium-specific charging equipment just won't charge the batteries. Also disappointing was iffy shore power situations in many remote parks. In short, as we stood, we just didn't have enough reliable power readily available to support our life on the road as we want to live it. and obsessing over state of charge made for really stressful nights. We needed a better way to generate and store power from multiple sources that allows us to live, play, and work the way we desire. So, to answer our power generation and storage needs, we chose Victron Energy products, and here's why. The equipment provides complete battery protection and management via the Lynx BMS system in a really small form factor. Victron Energy Serbo GX collects and presents all of the necessary charge and discharge data from all of the Victron components that allow for charging from any available source, whether that's shore power, the truck's alternator, solar panels, wind turbines, as well as generators. With more charging sources and more complete information, we have better control and less stress and anxiety while we're away from shore power. Our new system is centered around 4 Victron 330 amp-hour lithium batteries to store as much power as possible. We added portable solar panels to augment our ZAMP rooftop panels to provide power via twin smart solar MPPT chargers to top off the batteries whenever and wherever the sun is shining. While we're in motion, 2 Victron 50 amp DC to DC buck boost chargers provide 100 amps of charging power during our average 6-hour drive. When we're connected to shore power, the Multi+ 2 charges the batteries back to full capacity. Lynx BMS distributor bus bars give us a relatively small footprint on which to tie all of these components together under a central BMS module. The Serbo GX with the Touch 70 screen gives us visibility into the system at all times. The biggest benefit we have is peace of mind with all the pertinent status data presented in one place. In this video, we've covered our previous setup, our real-world challenges, and our proposed Victron Energy system. In our next video, I'll cover the functional design, the physical layout of our system, as well as go into some installation details. Thanks for watching. I'm Javier Reynaldos, Airstream adventurer powered by Victron Energy. Thanks again.